Hello there. Welcome to the 3 a.m. Knitter Podcast. It is Tuesday, March the 19th. I usually don't podcast on a weekday, but I was away on retreat this past weekend, and so this episode is a little bit late. So, welcome. My name is Anne, and I am coming to you today, as usual, from the North Shore of Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome to you. Let's get into some housekeeping and get all of that out of the way. If you need to email me, my email address is 3amknitter@gmail.com. My mailing address, my snail mail address, is down below as well for you. You can find me on all the socials as 3am Knitter. I do have a Rivalry group that you are, of course, welcome to join. It's been growing consistently week after week and month after month. So if you'd like to get in on that, please feel free to jump on board. What else? You can find some of my sock patterns and things like that over on Rivalry. And also you can visit me over on the 3am Knitter website, and the address for that is down below as well. Find a whole bunch of information over there on the website, including the ability to purchase some of my sock patterns is there, because I know not everybody uses Rivalry. So give it a little visit. You'll find the link down below. Announcements. So let's see. Our regular open to the public virtual knit night is on the 20th, so that's tomorrow. And then our next members only knit night for members of the circle is March the 26th, which is next Tuesday. So if you are a member of the circle, you are of course welcome to come to the open to the public knit nights, but members of the circle have their own knit nights that are just for them. So if you'd like to be part of the circle and take part in not just the virtual knit nights, but a whole host of other things, you can join us. The circle is my monthly membership where we have a whole lot of things going on. So I'm not going to get into it in any great detail because I did that in a previous episode, and you can just pop on over to the website and see all the information there. So the link is down below. And don't forget that if you have any questions, you can DM me over on Instagram, send me an email, any of those things, and you and I can set a time to chat about your questions, okay? So there's that. The 2024 East Coast Sock Club launched back on the 15th of the month, so last week, with the first of 4 patterns that will come out, excuse me, over the year. So our first pattern is the Atlantic Breeze Socks. So that pattern has been released. So this is a year-long sock club pattern released this month. The second pattern will come out in June, the third in September, and the fourth in December. All based on the East Coast, all sock patterns. I'll give you a little hint. They're all going to be cuffed down, heel flap and gusset. So what will happen is it's available for purchase. So you purchase the entire club. Each one of the patterns will be released on the pattern release date. If you are a member of the circle, you will get the pattern released early. And members of the circle are also invited to a Caston Party for each of the sock patterns. So I hope that you will take advantage of that. Pop on over to the website, check out the 2024 East Coast Sock Club. And again, just as I mentioned before, if you have any questions, just let me know. We're all good. Okay, I think that was it for announcements. Let's jump right in to what I am wearing. So what I am wearing and finished objects, same thing this time around. So I am wearing the Circe Pullover. So I talked about this last episode. I didn't show it last episode because I was in the body part of the knitting, which was just stockinette, and I didn't think that you guys would want to see that. So I have finished it. I finished it this weekend. This is the Circe Pullover by Jessica Strow. I think that's how you say her name. Isn't it beautiful? It's got my favorite kind of boat neck. The fit is great. And I'll tell you a little bit about it. Pardon me. Okay, so as I say, the Circe Pullover sweater designed by Jessica Strow. This is size 5 that I made. I am 5'8", if that gives you kind of a hint about the fit. So it's, there we go. Needle sizes in the pattern called for 3.5 and 3.75. I also used a 4mm. So for my US friends, that's US 4, 5, and 6. The gauge 20 stitches, 26 rows to 10 centimeters on stranded stockinette. I used two-handed Fair Isle to do my color work. That's my go-to. I find it the easiest method for me. It's also great because you don't get your yarn tangled. But yeah, my tension's pretty good on it, and I don't know if I can. So the longest that I carried floats was about 5 stitches. That seems to be my comfort zone. So this beautiful, beautiful DK weight yarn is Frankie Gray Fibres, DK, and it's in the black cherry colorway. Isn't it just delicious? Like, look at that. Oh, so beautiful. Now, this is, of course, beautifully dyed by Frankie Gray Fibres. Now, I did no helical knitting on this sweater, and I think you can tell that this is a true testament to Frankie Gray Fibres' amazing dyeing ability, because there is no noticeable shift in skeins. So there's that. Let's see, I used 997.2 yards or 911.8 meters in the main color, the black cherry. This ecru colorway is a DK sport weight, kind of unknown, kind of natural undyed yarn that I had in my stash. My friend Lyanne sent it to me. And I just, it's not 100% perfect, but you know what? It was close enough, and it was in my stash. I think that this sweater turned out perfectly. The fit is absolutely perfect. A little bit of information about the pattern. It is a paid-for pattern from NITE Picks, so $4.99 US. There are 26 projects on Rivalry, mine being one of them. So yeah, it was a great knit. If I didn't have so many other sweaters that I want to knit, I might knit it again. So really, really simple. The fit is perfect. Love it. So this is what I'm wearing, and it is my only finished object. Finished it this weekend. So there it is. Oh, the one change that I did make to the pattern. So when I was knitting the body, because I've got all this beautiful color work up here, when I got down to the ribbing, I did the last row, or was it the last 2 rows? Anyway, last row, and then bound off in the ecru color. And I hated it. It just didn't do it for me. So I pulled it all out, picked up 300 and some odd stitches, and then knit another round of the ribbing, and then cast off in the solid color, so, or in the black cherry colorway. So, was that a pain in the butt? Yep. But I'm pleased. I'm super pleased with the results of that. So anyhow, Circe Pullover by the lovely, just a minute, Jessica Strauss. Sorry. I know I just said her name, but it just escaped me. All right. Let's move right into our my works in progress. So, you all know, if you've watched previous episodes, that I am doing my hashtag 2024 socks from stash. So 1 pair of socks every month for this year. Caveat being, it had to be a pattern I already owned in my Rivalry library or elsewhere, and I had to knit from stash. So I showed last episode my January and February socks that I have finished, and I introduced my March socks, the rippled ribbed socks by the lovely Susie White. These ones, you'll remember those, I'm sure. And I showed you that I had started them. Whoops. And I'm showing you the exact same thing today. So I have not worked on these socks at all because I wanted to finish my Circe Pullover. So these are now back in rotation. What are we at? The 19th? I better get rolling on these because I really want to have these done at the end of the month so I can keep on track with my 1 pair of socks per month. So I made no progress. So that's shameful, but you know, it is what it is. I did take them to a retreat this weekend, but honestly, all I worked on was this sweater. So there it is. Now, there has been a number of lovely knitters who have been working on this kind of loosey-goosey knit along with me, and they have been posting their progress in the Rivalry group, and so I'm really happy and, you know, just inspired to see all of their work. So if you want to check out some of the socks that have been knit, get on over to the Rivalry group and take a look. It's not too late for you to participate. If you knit some socks in January and you knit some socks in February and you're knitting some socks in March and you fall within the parameters of the kind of rules that I've set, in that you already own the pattern and you're knitting from stash, throw some pictures up in the group, because what's going to happen is at the end of March, probably actually on April the 1st, everybody who's posted January, February, and March, I'm going to draw for a little prize. And I still don't know what the prize is, but it's going to be something, you know. So I really just want this to be fun, and I want us to use a little bit of our stash. I'm a little crocheted sheep. Isn't that adorable? Okay, so that's work in progress. So as you may recall, this sweater, I knit this because I'm taking part in a book club on Rivalry, in that every 2 months we read a book and we have to start a pattern, a project that has something to do with the book that we're reading. And what's the other thing? Has to do with the book that we're reading and has to use at least 100 grams of yarn. That's the other thing. So that's where the Circe Pullover, the first book was Circe that we read. And so there we go. So the second book that we're reading, and I showed you this last episode, is The Hunting Party. And that's a novel by Lucy Foley. So I finished that book, and you know, it was a fun read. It's kind of a little bit of a suspense or a thriller, which, you know, was kind of fun. So last episode, I had mentioned to you that I was going to do the Snow Track sweater, which, bear with me while I look that up, because if you haven't watched the previous episodes, you might not know. And I still want to knit this. It's just that I just don't have the yarn in my stash right now for it. Isn't that lovely? Look at that cable. Oh, look at that. Isn't that something else? So I really do want to knit this sweater. I just don't have the supplies, and I really don't want to buy, the supplies for it right now. So I kind of thought about, what am I going to knit that I have stuff in my stash for. So this novel is about a group of friends who go away and over the New Year's holiday. And so I searched and I found, oh, this doesn't have a picture on it. I found a pattern, which is a Malabrigo pattern called the Friendship Shawl. So I thought, you know what? That kind of fits with the theme of the book, about a group of friends. And so this is just, looks like a really scrumptious and squishy shawl that that I have. It's a DK shawl, and I have DK weight in my stash, so that's brilliant. Sorry, I just lost my, let me go back to my projects here so I can give you the deets. All right, so I am knitting this out of Frankie Gray Fibres DK because I have a bunch of it. Let me just grab the colors here. So you'll remember from my field sweater that I knit it in the sand, I think it's the sand colorway, is it? Sand Dollar. So this is going to be my, sorry, I'm a little bit all tangled up here. So Sand Dollar. So that's the main color. And then I also had these two skeins of Frankie Gray in Delphinium and Cape Cod Blue. So these are the three colors that I'm incorporating into the Friendship Shawl. And I have only just cast it on. So the rules of this is that you have to have cast it on during the 2-month period that we're reading the book. So in this case, it's March and April. The project does not have to be completed by the end of the 2 months, but it must be completed, and you must wear it and put a picture up of you wearing the garment before the end of the year. So I've just got started, and I think this is going to be a super nice warm shawl for sitting out by the fire at night, curled up watching a movie. You get the idea. So let's talk about the pattern. It's a free pattern, by the way. 254 people have completed it. The sample was done in Malabrigo dos Tierros, which is a DK Sport. 4.5 millimeter needles, or US size 7, 630 yards, 576 meters. Malabrigo, let's see. I'm just trying to see if there is a project here that gives you a great idea of the pattern, because I didn't print the entire pattern. I just printed the instruction pages. So there's a lot of garter stitch sections, and then those little open lacy areas as well. I think it's lovely. I think just the virtue of the garter stitch paired with the DK weight is just going to make this the squishiest shawl ever. So that's what I'm doing for my book club. Also kind of keeping in line with, I didn't make it a goal to only knit from stash this year. And I didn't say that I was going to not purchase anything, but I'm really trying to be very aware of what I have in my stash and really trying to use it if I can. I'm trying to search out projects that utilize what I have. Unless I absolutely fall in love with something and know that I want to knit it or crochet it or whatever right away, I will only be using my stash. So there's that. So the other thing that I'm working on is a larger project, but it's a secret test knit, so I can't talk to you about that. But that is taking a little bit of my time as well. So the progress on these other projects might be a little bit slower than I usually knit, only because I'm also working on this secret test knit that has a definitive end date. So I'll share about that as soon as I'm allowed to. But for now, it'll just kind of be on the QT. Okay, so as you know, or perhaps you don't, last weekend, I was away on retreat. So I went to a weekend-long fiber arts retreat into Nova Scotia that was hosted by Sisterhood Fibres, which is a lovely, not quite LYS because it's a little ways away from me, but lovely store that has a store here in Tatabagouche, but now also has a store in Truro for the winter months. And it was everything I hoped that it would be. So it was a whole weekend of me not having to make my bed, me not having to cook, me not having to do anything. I didn't even have to make my coffee. It was ready. I just have to grab, it was such a great weekend. And it was just what I needed after this crappy winter that we've had, to be honest with you. And I met some really fabulous women. So I went on my own and was fortunate enough to meet some great people. Hello, Denise. Hello, Laura. Hello, Sandra. Hello, Barb. So, we had some great time talking about how we craft and what we're working on, and, learning different things and meeting new people and being inspired by people's creativity. It was such a great weekend. There was lots of demonstrations and a workshop or two, and people just willing to take time. There was a plethora of rug hookers there, and I am fascinated by that. And so people were so generous with their time. You'd go over and they would stop what they were doing and they'd talk to you about what they do, and then they would show you, they'd let you try it on their own projects. It was just such a lovely time. And my new friend Laura was casting on her emotional support chicken, which I am just enamored with. So another one of those great projects that I'm sure will be in my future, just because it's so much fun. So one of the things that caught my eye and that I realized I already have the equipment for, Vanna, a woman named Vanna, did a demonstration of continuous strand weaving. Now, I've done continuous strand weaving before on a triangle loom, and actually had a triangle loom, which I've subsequently gotten rid of over the years. But what I remembered is that I have a great big rectangle loom that I can do this continuous strand weaving. So what is continuous strand weaving? It is exactly as it sounds. So you're weaving over, under, over, under, over, under, but your warp and your weft is all one string. And it's really quite fascinating. If you haven't seen continuous strand weaving, just hop over after you watch the episode, of course, and search for continuous strand weaving. And it's really quite fascinating. Even if it's not something that you ever do, I think that, you will appreciate just kind of the craftsmanship of it. So that kind of caught my eye. And then, of course, my very good friend, Doris-Ann Savoie, was there. She is a beautiful basket maker from New Brunswick. And I treated myself to one of her little baskets. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, she signs the bottom. So why did I get this little basket? So a number of episodes ago, you might recall that I took a workshop with Doris-Ann and I made my own basket, quite a big one. And it sits on my table downstairs beside my chair, where I put a few knitting projects in there that don't require regular ongoing attention. And I use them, I knit on them, when I feel like it. I've got a crochet hook in there and some yarn, make some granny squares. But what happens is I misplace my tools all the time. My scissors, my tape measure, my little tin that I've got stitch markers in, et cetera, et cetera. They get lost in this big basket or in my bags or whatever. So my thought is that because that's my chair and that's where I sit, that I was going to take this basket that Doris-Ann made, and this is going to be on my table with all of those tools that I regularly need. And it will just stay on my table. It's small, it's compact, perfect size for what I need, not too deep, so I can, reach my hand in, because I didn't want something super deep, right? But this is so much fun. And then I was absolutely thrilled to see that she's offering another class in Truro, which is, I don't know, about 40-ish minutes from where I live. Next month. So I'm considering taking that workshop from her as well, because the basket that is being done in that workshop is smaller than the one I made, but larger than this one, and it has a nice handle on it. So I thought that might be nice for carrying a project to Knit Night or something like that. So stay tuned about that. So I was very happy to have picked up this new basket. And then she also offered on Sunday morning a little workshop demonstration where we got to take some of her basket weaving materials and make ourselves a little flower. So I was able to make this little flower here. I am always so fascinated by anything, that's weaving or anything like that. So what I thought I would do with this is I have some really great essential oil sprays that I purchased from an Indigenous maker on Manitoulin Island. And one of them is sage, one of them is sweetgrass. And I thought I might spray this because it is porous, and then hang it in my car off my rear view mirror as kind of an air freshener for my car. So just, we did fun little projects like this to break up the time that we were sitting with our knitting needles or whatever craft that we were doing. So it was great fun, and I had just the best time. But, as it is with time away like that, it's really great to get home, sleep in your own bed, isn't it? So I learned that there is another retreat in November, which I am highly considering. So we'll see about that. I haven't pre-registered for it yet. I have to check some scheduling things, but I think that I would love to attend that again. So if you are in the vicinity, you're in, northern Nova Scotia, even Halifax, there was people there from Ontario too. So if you are interested in checking out the retreat and have questions about it, let me know. I'd be happy to chat with you about it. And if you are coming in, maybe we can, hang out together. That'd be great. Okay. What do we got next? Dream knitting. All right. So you remember a few minutes ago when I said I'm trying to knit from stash, right? But that if something that if I fall in love with something, I'm not adverse to purchasing supplies for it. So on Friday morning, I took Friday off of work so I could get myself ready to head out for the retreat around noon. And as I was having my coffee, as I do, I scrolled through Rivalry looking at all the new patterns. And this lovely, lovely pattern, Agave, I think it's pronounced, by Yumiko Alexander, came across my Rivalry feed. There's the back. It's a loose layering piece, and you know me, I like the layering pieces. That's one of the sleeve options. There's the other sleeve option, which is my preference. a little bit longer. It's got the lace detail on the sleeve. Isn't that beautiful? So I immediately purchased the pattern, and then, well, let's talk about the pattern first. So it just came out in September of 2023. It's a worsted weight, approximately 5.5 millimeter needles, or US 9. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sizes. The pattern is available in English and Japanese. It is a paid for pattern at $12.71 Canadian, or US $9 US. Chest size, so it's meant to be worn with ease, right? So chest size 42, 46, 50, 54, and 58 inches. Choose the chest size for your ease, preference, and length. So it was shown, the pictures that it was shown there, it was shown here, chest 50 inches, or 18 and 18.5 inches long. So that gives you an idea. Let me go back to this first one. So it's meant to be a flowy, loose fit, right? Now, this is made in, what's the yarn that they used for this one? Does it say? They used linen, 100% linen. Yeah, they use 100% linen. There are 71 projects on Rivalry, so it's been knit quite a bit. There is errata. It shows here that there is errata. So I purchased some yarn for this. So, don't know if, yeah, that's not bad. So a natural kind of colorway. This is Marisol Winku. I don't know if I said that right. There's the tag. Oh, there's the tag. Winku. Sorry about that. So anyhow, this is 85% Targhee cotton and 15% silk. It feels really nice. I think that the drape is going to be beautiful. I have not swatched for it yet. I had to stop myself from swatching immediately. This is the sand colorway. Suggested knitting gauge, 16 to 20 stitches over 4 inches or 10 centimeters in stockinette on 4.5 to 5.5 needles, which is pretty darn close. This gauge says 15.5 stitches. I can make that work. So, oh, it's so soft. So there's kind of, yeah. So I will be casting this on ASAP because I really want this top. Oh, I can't, you know how sometimes you see a pattern and you just go, whew, I must make that immediately. That's how I reacted to this. Go over to Rivalry and take a look at it. These pictures here on the screen are just not doing it justice. You know, the flutter sleeve is kind of nice as well, but I think I prefer the bracelet length. That's kind of my jam, the bracelet length sleeve. I mean, you can tell from this. I mean, I have tattoos and stuff, so I like to be able to show those off, right? So that's going to be my dream knitting, or my next cast on. I really am trying to hold off casting this on until I get that secret test knit completed, because that really has to take precedence, because I do have an end date for that one. So, so there's that. Yeah. Okay. So that's my dream knit. And then the final dream knit that I have, and I actually just came across this today. This is called the McKelly Sweater, and it is, I'm assuming, a top-down yoke with a few colors in the color work. Isn't that lovely? Yeah. So this pattern here on Rivalry is, as I say, called the McKelly Sweater. McKelly Sweater, and it's by Sisu Knitwear. It's English or Norwegian. The best part about this sweater pattern, and I'm shocked, it's a free pattern. So that's amazing. So it's brand new. It was just put out in March. It's an Aran weight sweater. That this sweater in the picture is knit in Let Lopi. So if you have something in your stash similar to that, an Aran weight, that would be great, right? A free pattern. Oh, so beautiful. It is, it goes all the way from double extra small to double extra large. 3.5, 4.5, and 5 millimeter needles, or 4, 7, and 8 for my US friends. Gauge is 18 stitches in 24 rows for 10 centimeters, or 4 inches. What do we got? The measurements in this pattern are only correct if the given gauge is achieved. The sweater should have a positive ease of 5 to 10 centimeters. She makes a note here, measure yourself or the one you're knitting for to find the perfect size. If you're 90 centimeters around your bust, you should knit a size small that measures 98 centimeters. So that gives you an idea. Says you need cirques and double points, and you need 4 colors, 1 main and 3 contrast. So the main, you need anywhere from 300 to 550 grams, and it looks like for the contrasts, you need 50 to 150 grams, depending on your size. So there's already one project in here, even though this was just released. So if you like knitting sweaters and you want a free color work pattern, jump on over to Rivalry and check that out. I know that I've got the pattern already, and I've been looking in my stash to see. I don't have a lot of Aran weight, but you know, I can make something work, I'm sure. Okay. So what's coming up next? So the next episode of the podcast is on the 31st of the month. So in a couple of weeks. The members only podcast episodes. So the episode for the Circle will be out on the 24th, which is Sunday. And if you have purchased the 2024 East Coast Sock Club, so that's what I talked about at the beginning of the episode, and you are a member of the Circle, we are having a Caston Party on Saturday at noon Atlantic. So there is still time for you to get in on that if you want to join us. So the Circle membership is $15 a month, or you can purchase the year. If you purchase the year, you get a month for free. And we do a whole bunch of stuff in the Circle. So check out the website. Let me know if you want in, or you can just go ahead and purchase, and I'll get notification that you've made your purchase. And then if you want to get in on the Caston Party for the Sock Club, get yourself the Sock Club purchased, and then you can join us if you're a member of the Circle. Sorry, that sounded really convoluted. Join the Circle, buy the Sock Club. There you go. And then you can come to the Caston Party. All right. Okie dokie. Let's see. Let's get into the Knitter's Oracle. But just before I draw the card, I just wanted to let you know at the end of the episode, I'm going to throw in some pictures from the retreat. So I hope you enjoy them. And again, if you are in Nova Scotia, or if you are in another province and you want to come to Nova Scotia in November and go to the retreat, let me know, because I'd be happy to meet you there. Okay. Knitter's Oracle for today. All right, we have the Twitter Knitters. The Twitter Knitters. That's kind of hard to say. I guess it's not Twitter anymore, is it? The X-Knitters. What's shaken? Wool lover. Where the heck are my addies? You want to take this outside, buddy? Yarn is for losers and sheep stink. Oh my. I told myself I could have one skein. Oops. Okay, sorry. I was just reading what's on the card there. So this is the Twitter Knitters. Let's see what that has to say. Oops. Here we go. Oh, the knitters on Twitter. Yes, we're still there, gabbing away. It's still the best place to get all the industry dirt. The Twitter Knitters represents just that, chattering, gossip, the latest news, as well as the social environment that surrounds it, from the stitch and bitch to the kiki to the whispering in the kitchen at the dinner party. When this card comes up, it's time to tune into your crew and get the scuttlebutt, or maybe to give them something to talk about. The Twitter Knitters. When this card comes up, it's time to tune into your crew. See, even the card's telling you to join the circle. Seriously. Yeah, you know what? We do. We talk about our knitting, don't we? We talk about it. It is an activity that brings us together. You talk to people about the things that you do. You talk to people about the creations that you make. You talk to people about, you know, in a way, how proud you are of the things that you make. Like me sharing, you know, how thrilled I am with this sweater, right? It's the latest news and the social environment that surrounds it. So how do you think about this for a bit and let me know, you know, how do you share your love of this craft, knitting, crocheting, weaving, whatever craft, fiber arts craft you do? How do you share that? I share it like this. I share it by going to retreats. Yeah. All right, my friends, that's all for today. I hope that you don't mind that the episode was a couple of days late, but you know, I was on retreat. So listen, I hope that you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Don't forget that virtual knit night for everybody is tomorrow night, the 20th. And if you're in the circle, I'm going to see you tonight, and I'll see you next Tuesday as well. So stay tuned after I sign off for some pictures from the retreat, and I hope that you have a great couple of weeks. Talk to you soon. Keep knitting.